keep going.
Countries are talked about as having shortcomings. Not every country is good. There are bad things that we'll find in every country. But there are those that stand out. We found some things in Nigeria that are so unique. And we had a race, 100 meters, 200 meters, I should say. It was sprinting. And at the end of the video, you'll see the winner. Nigeria is a very beautiful country, and we can't put it in one video, but we visited Redemption City. That is the home of RCCG, which is led by Daddy Gio, as we call him. Daddy Gio is Enoch Adeboye, Pastor Enoch Adeboye. And man, we were just amazed. Our faith was boosted, seeing the things that they have achieved. And this is a vision that God gave to one man, and it has benefited millions of people. One of the things is the structures, the auditoriums that they have, because we visited one auditorium and we were so amazed thinking it was a 3 million seater. We kept talking about it. Our heads were spinning just thinking about 3 million people in one place. We were joking and saying the president of Botswana can gather his whole country in that auditorium and address them. And when we went to the first auditorium, which they told us was the older one that they had moved from, shock on us, that was the 3 million seater. The one we had just seen was a 12 million seater auditorium. Who thinks that way? How many men can imagine that? We've talked about imagination that creates. You go to Redemption City, you will see it. And of course, we saw their hospital. They have a very beautiful hospital. Like, this hospital is better than many private hospitals that you've seen. One of the things that stood out about the hospital, they have the best MRI machine, the best, the biggest in West Africa. So imagine people flying in from Abidjan, Senegal, Dakar, all those places, because the best MRI machine is in a city run by children of God, a city that belongs to a church vision. Yeah, so that was Redemption Camp, and we went to Bishop Victor Taiwo Adelakun. He's building a city called Wonder City, and there is Dominion University, which is in Faith City. So these are like two cities opposite each other. And the faith journey, hearing the things that happened, and all these places we are going, they've done the work debt-free. And of course, it was amazing to be here with the team from Nairobi and Botswana, Kevin from Botswana. I always love to travel with people because we learn together as a ministry, and it's very easy to implement, especially in the areas where we have been challenged. So I had a very wonderful team, and they were very, very supportive, especially to me as their pastor. They helped me a lot, and I also didn't feel lonely. It's always good to have people around you. The Canaan land, we visited Canaan land. I know that's very famous, but that is Bishop Oyedepo, and we went for a service at 6:30 in the morning, a service that begins at 6:30. Man, the place is busy. People are like bees. But one thing that stood out was the orderliness. They have a very wonderful service team, or I don't know what they call it, task force, because one service has over 50,000 people, but you don't see a stampede anywhere, you don't see congestion anywhere. They make sure that the traffic is moving all the time. And one of the highlights even in that place was, we got a number of books, and at their bookstore, books are very, very affordable. And they have books even from other Christian authors, not just Bishop Oyedepo and his wife, Pastor Faith Oyedepo. They have many, like God's Generals and other titles that you may think about. It is so amazing to see how affordable these books are. And I think it is because they want people to read. They want people's faith to be stirred up. They want to expose their people. So we got a privilege of collecting some of the books. And we went to to Covenant University, still in Canaan land. This is a university still under the same vision, under the same mandate of Bishop David Oyedepo. And it is a very wonderful university. It stands out. I like it when I see that Christians are doing big things, great things like this. And before I forget, the Ark, that is their new project. I think it's 102,000 seater. It's going on, and it will be open, I think, next year. But seeing the cranes, seeing the work that is going on, and I remember watching videos from the time of the groundbreaking, how Bishop Oyedepo said that they have all the money in case you wanted to give towards this project. Look for another project in church to give towards. And you see, all the time that we were here, we were in church, there's no single mention of that project. His main emphasis was souls. That is what I remember. Souls were emphasized more than anything. So I'm like, how can a vision be so big that the Ark, which is setting world records, somebody had written down how it is setting over 8 world records, and it's not even worth mentioning. That's how big the vision is. And we enjoyed, we went to Banana Island, we've looked at Lekki, nice houses, great hospitality everywhere we went. Great hospitality. These people fed us with jollof. They gave us great things. And many stories that have been said about Nigeria are not true. Or things have changed and people are in the past. But I even managed to go to the market. We went to the market, and that would be like downtown. And man, seeing people counting money, seeing people on their phones. I don't know how you may watch this video and argue, but that is what we saw. That is what we saw. And I'm like, Nigeria is not as harsh or hostile as people would think. But one thing that I give to them is that they are tenacious. Maybe that is what makes people think that it is a hostile nation. That people are not entitled. Everyone wants to work. They want to earn their own bread, and which is a good thing. It's a good thing. The airport was beautiful. They received us well. Immigration people, officers, we were joking with them the entire time. I think we took even photos with them. Contrary to what I've heard about Nigeria, this was my first time in Nigeria, and it has been that good, like I'm saying. And one that I will not leave out is we visited David's is it called David's Church? I know you will see it somewhere here, but that's the church pastored by Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo and Mildred Okonkwo, and they were so gracious to us. They offered us all the help that we needed. So their pastors, pastor on the mainland church, Jethro, and the associate or assistant pastor, I think, for the island, that's in Lekki, Pastor Chike, they gave us their all. They gave us church tour. They took us through the history of the ministry, the faith exploits that they have had. And I know most of us in the world, we know Pastor Kingsley and Mildred mainly for marriage talk, relationship talk. Amen. That is just a facet or one expression of who they are and what they are doing in ministry. What we saw a faith journey. These are they really come from the word of faith, and that was also a beautiful place, inspiring us, especially because of where our ministry is. We saw the steps and we saw that it is possible. And of course, many fun activities around Lagos. You taste their suya, you taste their jollof, and we went to a place called LCC, Lagos Conservation Center. Now, I don't like heights. I'm one of those people that really fear heights, especially if it's fully covered in glass, like sitting in an aeroplane and all that. Like, no, I have no problem with that. In this LCC, we went on a bridge, a very shaky bridge that goes above all the palm trees. And man, I went over it like a champion. I was like, yes, after all, I'm not that afraid of heights. Yes, and finally, my spiritual father ministering in town, hosted by Pastor Paul Olashore at Elohim Tabernacle. And Pastor Paul Olashore actually put all this together for us. So all these churches that we visited, the men of God that we interacted with, it was courtesy of Pastor Paul Olashore, who has been a great mentor, a great minister to us, and we don't take that for granted. So he's also hosted my spiritual father ministering in their convention at Elohim Tabernacle, still in Lekki, and it is a great honor, a privilege for me still to serve my spiritual father in a far land. And the rest of the stories, I'm sure you'll see some highlights in the video, and enjoy. Open up your heart about Nigeria.
Yeah.